This is the Full Ton Podcast. And welcome back to the Full Ton Podcast. I am your permanent guest host, John Fulton, and joining to me is the King of Calc, Professor Matt, or Matt as we like to call him.
Hello.
And also joining us today is our longtime friend, Craig Birchett, Star Wars fan number 567,564.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Out of the 1 billion Star Wars fans, I'll take that high of a number.
Okay. Right smack in the middle. Almost.
Oh, wait, no. Do you understand where that is as far as like
billions
billions
half
goes?
a million. Oh, yeah.
half a million billion, right smack dab in the middle. And now we know why Matt is the professor.
Yeah, I screwed it up. He will be giving us his thoughts on Solo, and then we will be discussing the future of the franchise as a whole, along with kind of comparing it to some others, I guess. And so we'll start from there. You also went to see Solo.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
No.
Technically, you were not boycotting it the way we kind of sort of were.
I didn't realize there was a boycott. I mean, I knew people. I knew there were people who didn't want to go see it, but I was like,
we had a boycott of two
I was
people.
going to go see. Yeah, right. I think John started the boycott. Now there's a boycott now, but
I kind of started a
I
kind of said it just kind of as like to say we were almost kind of like on board with that, except for we hadn't like signed a petition or anything.
I was planning on seeing it. I didn't go with my hopes up super high because after the disappointment of what I felt was a disappointment with episode 8. Are we going to spoil parts of the movie? Is it been enough time that we can spoil things?
I say let's probably go for like 5 minutes and then with non-spoilers, just kind of generic thoughts because like should you go see it or not go see it, and then after that I'll give a spoiler warning
and I'll explain what a spoiler is. So
we need like a spoiler alert song that you can just sing so people know spoilers are coming.
Spoiler alert. Up ahead, a spoiler alert.
No, I can do better than that.
Yeah, we'll find a better one.
Okay,
for
fine.
sure.
Sure, whatever, fine.
You're just a host of a podcast. You're not a musician.
General thoughts, Craig.
General thoughts, starting basically from the beginning. So
I'm gonna preface with the fact that I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a kid. I learned to read on Star Wars little reader beginning to read books.
This I can confirm.
And,
it was annoying.
Right. And by the time I was 12, I was reading like the adult novels and all that. Because that's what I cared about.
Not that adult.
So that being said, I want these Star Wars movies to succeed. I want them to do well. I want them to be the best they can be. I'm not hating on it because I don't like who's working on it. I don't like not because I don't like that there's women in this or whatever. Like you can't don't put that on me. There've always been strong women characters. I've always liked that. I had a crush on Princess Leia. I had a crush on Padme. I kind of now have a crush on Rey.
Yep.
As unpopular opinion as that may
it has
be,
to happen.
That's just how it is. So it's not, I don't like it because there's girls in it. I want Star Wars to do well. And it's not, I think the biggest problem I have is with writing and probably that Disney, in my opinion, is turning it into just a money grab.
So what would be kind of a generic look over at the movie, what it did well for you and what it didn't do well?
It had good action. It had dynamic action. I really enjoyed action sequences. I enjoyed some of the throwbacks to Episode 5 and kind of just tying together that universe that has already been set up about Han Solo and Lando and Chewie. And I kind of enjoyed
Lando
that.
was done really well.
Yeah. I thought so as well. I really liked Donald Glover.
Donald Glover does a great job.
Donald Glover.
Daniel Glover. Just
Daniel
like Han.
Glover.
Yeah, Han. Well, I also really like that thing about Han. It's like the reason why he calls him Han is because it's a joke. It's like they kind of retconned that because Billy D. Williams didn't want to say Han or for whatever reason or just didn't say it or the scripty didn't. Yeah. The script supervisor, didn't
enforce it.
Didn't enforce it or whatever. So they kind of like retconned that and made it. I enjoyed stuff like that. That was a good little reference, and it was okay. So he just does that because he's making fun of Han. So I enjoyed that. Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the best choice for Han Solo. He did a good job.
He did okay.
He did his job. He acted as a character. I think if he wasn't playing Han Solo, he would have been the right character for this movie. But the fact that he was playing Han Solo,
that's a good way
kind of where he messed up. He's a great character in the Star Wars universe that's not named Han Solo.
Yeah.
So I think
he would have probably made a pretty good Dash Rendar.
Exactly.
which
a Dash
is
Rengar,
basically
just
video game discount Han Solo,
right,
but
exactly.
still.
Because we can't get anyone who sounds like Harrison Ford to come in, and because we have zero budget for this game.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But just any other character he would have done good. He did a good job acting, but I don't think he did a good job playing Han Solo. Chewbacca,
Yeah.
flawless as always.
As always.
Woody Harrelson did good. You guys talked about it last week. I listened to that one. He did good. He just played the character Woody Harrelson always plays, but he did a good job of it.
He was
And
playing Woody
it's an interesting
Harrelson.
character.
Yeah.
I wasn't like surprised by the plot. There wasn't anything that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Except for something at the end that I'll spoil when we hit that spoiler card.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. There are
Do you
things
think-
here and there where I was just kind of annoyed with.
If
but
you're a Star Wars fan, do you think you should go see it?
if you're a casual Star Wars fan, absolutely go see it. It's the universe that they're setting up. If you want to continue to see Star Wars movies, then go see it. If you're a fan of the expanded universe that has now been deleted from all history, and you're going to be annoyed by every little thing that's not accurate with the original Han Solo novel that came out in 1994, don't go see it. Also, I know that's not when the Han Solo book came out. I'm just throwing out a year because I don't know when it came out.
Well, that seems like as good a place as any to put the spoiler alert. So now we'll discuss spoilers. Spoiler alert. Okay, honest opinion. Who was surprised that the Marauder lady was a girl? For reals.
I was not that surprised.
I mean, I wasn't surprised.
Okay, that's it.
I thought it was like, okay, maybe she's an alien, or maybe like, I felt like I knew she wasn't going to be the main villain of that. I just thought,
yeah.
and then when they took the helmet off, I was like, am I supposed to know who this person is? Is this Woody Harrelson's wife and their daughter or something like that, that long lost daughter? And I felt like they could have stuck something more interesting there, but I'm not going to be disappointed. I wasn't disappointed.
What did you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think for me, I watched him roll in several times, and right before that reveal, I was sitting there thinking, from previous, I was like, man, if she was a bad guy, we should have seen something like actually evil from her at this point. And the second part, and then I realized, it hit me. I was like, well, it's Save Your Dragon 2, right? Like, isn't that the same mask there?
How to Train Your
How to Train
Dragon.
Your Dragon. Yeah, that's right.
It
It's How to
She
Train Your
looks
Dragon.
exactly like that character.
She even has the same freckles. So,
freckles and the feathers on the helmet. It's really,
I didn't put that together.
yeah, that's
And
what
she also
I was
has
thinking.
I'm going to
stick.
go ahead and admit I'm not the biggest How to Train Your Dragon fan.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know. That was just a weird one for
terrible.
me.
You're not
It's such a
missing anything.
I'm
Yeah,
a strange
I heard it.
person. That's all right.
They ruined the second one. The first one's pretty good, but the second one kind of... It was amazing how
Let's finish talking about Star Wars.
bad it could be. Anyway, serious case of sequelitis there. But so you were talking about Darth Maul.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, everyone in the whole world probably knows this one by now, but
Yeah.
spoiler alert, Darth Maul is the leader of the Syndicate at the end.
What is it, the Crimson Tide?
Yeah.
That's
Crimson...
That's Alabama.
Crimson Dawn,
The Crimson
I think.
Dawn, yeah.
Yeah. Which
It's crimson because of his red tattoos.
Yeah.
So they're Alabama
Eye roll.
Oh, they should have
Terrorists
just
from
gone the
Die
whole...
Hard?
They should have just gone the whole...
I'll allow it.
What?
Alabama.
terrorists
Yeah.
from Die Hard.
Yeah.
No, no,
Alabama.
yeah.
I think they should have just gone the whole hog and made them Black Sun.
Okay, when they were talking about earlier in the movie, they go, "I am." They're like, "You don't know who I'm working for," and it's
Yeah.
like I was like, "Prince Shizor, please be Prince Shizor." That is instantly where my mind went, and I was like, "It's Prince Shizor." And I leaned over to my girlfriend and I go, "Prince Shizor," and then I was like, I said that because I knew if she wasn't gonna get, she's not gonna get the reference.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if it does come up, I am going to look like a boss for calling that it's Prince Caesar. I was like, they just changed it from the Black Sun to the Crimson Dawn or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, did you think that? Did you think Prince Caesar, or do you know who that is?
I know who he is,
Okay.
and I know about...
Thank you.
The
They
name sounds
just seem to
familiar,
be
that's
like...
about it.
Besides the Hutts, though, Black Sun was like the other dudes that always showed up, and it wasn't always the Prince guy with the green skin.
Yeah.
He would just...
was his
though he's
signature.
very similar, kind of, to Maul. He likes big, long sticks with pointy things on the end of them, and
What's that?
kind of the...
And kind of like a martial arts
Yeah.
style of fighting. Although he did have he did have like cool powers, like he had pheromones that can like
Oh, yeah,
he
that's
could change
right.
the mind of people. Or I haven't read the books with him in it for so long, but that's how I instantly thought.
Mostly all I know
know.
a lot of what I know about Star Wars comes from reading like Wikipedia articles. Like even
Same.
before there was a wiki, I got like was it Star Wars Encyclopedia from the
like
library?
the
the
6-inch
big
thick
monster
or
thing,
3-inch
yeah,
thick
and
book.
it's a paper
Yep.
book with little black and white pictures, and
Yep.
that was basically my version. I just read that thing from cover to cover.
So you were the other person. So when I would reserve it, you were the other person who had it for like 6 weeks. And so then when you wanted to
from
get
the
back, I was
library.
the person who had it for 6
There
weeks.
you go.
Yeah.
That's probably what it
we
was.
shared that copy.
Pretty
from the
much, yeah.
library.
That's probably what
I
happened.
just read it from beginning to end. I just sit down in the book and I just read it.
Yeah,
Oh, it's interesting.
and of course, I mean, it was a totally spoilerific way to read and
absolutely.
learn these things, but I still enjoyed it somehow. But it was just like having like
Plenty
all
of
of
good
Wikipedia,
characters.
like a mini version of Wikipedia, and you just put the whole thing into a book, and that was
Before
what
they had
this thing
Wikipedia, the
was.
encyclopedias,
Before they had
yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and so all I remember about Prince Shizzler pretty much is that he's green, he has pheromones, he was running the Black Sun. He figured he was going to be tough enough to beat Darth Vader,
that's right.
and that was not going to be the case. And also, when he tried to use his pheromones on Princess Leia, she kicked him in the nuts.
Because she was protected by the Force.
Because the Force.
That's not how the Force works. Oh, like, well, in this case, I guess it is.
That's true.
Something like that. I thought it was because she was a protagonist, but you know.
Well, it could be.
Plot armor.
She's protected by the Force.
Well, that basically is what the Force is plot armor.
Yeah.
The Force is trying to tell a story, so you sit down and shut up and let him tell his story.
Kind of.
Maybe-
I actually saw.
it-
We can talk about that later, but I actually saw a video about that. That was kind of. I thought it was actually pretty compelling. It was talking about how stormtroopers always miss,
Yeah.
and that was part of the reason why is because the Force wants them to miss. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay.
I think it's because the writers don't want the main characters to die. That's how I look at it.
Well, yes. Honestly, when we're being honest, that's the.
It's not Game of Thrones in space, okay? That's The Expanse. Catch it on a limited time brought to you by The Expanse.
For the next 10
Yeah.
minutes until
Watch it before
gets canceled
Amazon. No, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Before Amazon decides to cancel it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah, that'll never happen. It's
Oh boy.
it's their favorite show.
Somebody will pick it up.
Well, Amazon did.
Oh, they did
It was
already.
It was
See,
dropped
they
by
already
Sci-Fi.
picked it up.
Sci-Fi said they're dropping it. Amazon picked it up like 3 days later.
Oh, okay.
And so, well, it's Jeff Bezos' favorite sci-fi show, allegedly, according
Oh,
to the
really?
internet.
Well,
I do not know.
Okay.
But
That's funny.
So that's
Yeah.
why it got picked up, because apparently he really likes it.
Yeah.
I also really like it.
Well, it's-
Hey,
it's-
Jeff, if you're listening, hit me up, send me an email, or tweet at me, and we'll be best friends.
Yeah. Well, that's basically the only sci-fi show I can think of really that's on TV right now that like has space in it. I mean, there's Altered Carbon, but that's really like Blade Runner.
Such a good show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know this. So
Solo.
where are we
We
going
were
from
talking
here?
about-
We're still talking about Solo.
we're still talking about Solo
Okay,
Squad.
talking about-
okay,
okay,
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
The issue I had with Darth Maul appearing is, he, for the people who watch the animated shows, so like Clone
Rebels.
Wars and Rebels, they already know that he
Wars.
survived.
Yeah.
But I was okay with him being alive in this TV show because the TV show is, it's a good TV show. It's good for Star Wars content. If you want more Star Wars, that's what it's good for. But the problem that I have with it is I don't like it when there's movies that have TV shows as well that are in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, there's not a lot. You have like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that's about it. But I don't like it. I don't.
Right now, DC's living off of its TV
Right,
shows.
exactly. Great cinematic universe off of that. But
What were
I
you
feel
saying
like
earlier? You were talking about ripples.
right,
Yeah.
the things that affect the movies, which are the main things where most of your eyeballs come from.
Yeah.
More people, whether you like to believe it or not, have seen the movies than have ever and will ever see the TV shows. Because they're, whether you like it or not, they're originally written as kid shows. They're for kids'
Yep.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
They do
And they
have
are.
good Star
They
Wars
really
content, and
They're
they do
pretty
have some
traumatic
things.
for kids shows.
Well, yeah. Well,
It's a-
have you ever seen SpongeBob?
no.
I'm just kidding.
Our parents didn't let us.
Yeah, well, I still watch it. So
7 years later.
7 hours later.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't like it when I feel like the movies, like I said, movies have more eyeballs. So what happens in the movies should have ripples into the TV show. Like what the effects of the movies filter into the TV show.
Right.
Like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What happens in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. never makes it to the movies, but what happens in the Avengers movies and just
Yeah.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes waves in the TV show.
Right. Right.
And I feel like it should be that way. So you shouldn't have a main character like Maul spoiler alert, he dies in Rebels. You shouldn't have a character like him die there, but have him reappear maybe 5 or 6, 10 years earlier as a supposed background villain in one of your
you know
major
what? I
franchise
just
movies.
realized. I think I'd heard of that. Like I didn't see that episode or anything, but it was like on all the tech blogs or whatever, or
Yes.
on
Yeah, I
YouTube,
know
and the
you
recommend it was like, "Here, Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul." That's where you get most of my spoilers.
Right.
Anyway, is somebody has the clip of the spoiler and goes, "This is person kills person," and that was it. And you're like, "Oh well." And I think I just saw it like in my recommended feed on YouTube or something. Is here Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul, and I'm like, in Rebels, and I was like, oh yeah, that was gonna happen. And then I saw him in Solo, and I was like,
Doesn't he die soon?
what is the point now?
Right.
I don't understand. Is what?
Well, that's the thing.
It's like
How can
introducing
he
a
be-
villain, you know how
can
it's
he be
going to
Solo's
end.
greater. There's
Right.
like two problems. One, Solo doesn't become an important guy until A New Hope. That's kind of the whole point.
Right.
He's famous for being the best smuggler, but he's not famous for being a superhero who took out a crime cartel. He can't.
Right.
He doesn't have greater scope nemesis. He doesn't have that.
He's got
And-
a thing on a chalkboard in some bar that
Yeah.
says he ran the Kessel
Yeah.
Run faster
Right,
than
It's
anybody.
like, yes, Han Solo's life up to this point is I hang out in bars every now and then. I quick draw on somebody and blow him away. He always draws first,
Right.
and he drinks a lot and
Well,
Kinda like
runs
Craig
spice for the.
wow.
Well,
You're going to call me out, man. Okay. Just because I'm sitting here with a bottle of whiskey doesn't mean you have to call me out on it. All right? God.
That's his deal. He's got skills, but he's a space cowboy. He's a space trucker. He's not a
Yeah.
superhero.
Well,
And
yeah.
to make him into one is kind of.
Let's
it's
be
like-
honest, Craig. You always wanted to be Han Solo.
I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. I'm not
Really?
gonna lie.
Really?
I wanted to be the Jedi.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be
This
Luke
would-
Skywalker, but I
this
couldn't.
would be like-
I never
were-
told anybody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the most
That's my
heroic
deep, dark
thing he
secret.
does.
Well, I don't want to be him now, but
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to be Obi-Wan.
yeah. But it's like one of the most heroic things he does is befriend Chewbacca,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that's kind of one of the reasons you know he has depth is because he has this guy that follows him around. He's best friends with a dude most people can't identify with.
When you know
and
this
you
is
and
yeah,
you know
yeah.
that they're best buds, and that's what kind of makes you go, oh, okay, maybe he's got something to him.
Right.
He's obviously not. I mean,
Yeah.
he argues with Chewbacca a lot, but he doesn't. I don't know. He's not mean. He's just
Yeah.
he's a little sharp sometimes, but that's Han. But
Well, it's really interesting because out of all the books and things I've read, Chewbacca is a character who he's very unique. He's actually very old. He's the oldest one I can think of in the Star Wars universe because
Other than Yoda, excuse me.
old. Yeah,
Welcome
well,
to amateur hour.
100 something.
I don't
Yeah,
think I-
clearly.
I don't think I do this podcast anymore, John. You said only the best Star Wars fans would be here. Oh my god.
But
what have I done? What
there
have
are
I
there are a
done?
ton of old books where you'd have the main character and he would, especially a lot of young adult sort of older stuff, like stuff written back in the 1860s and stuff like that, where the main hero would save
boy.
somebody's life and they would become his like bond servant,
His
because
life
they
debt.
choose to. Yeah, their
Yeah,
life
that
debt.
was where that
that
came
sort of
from,
thing.
yeah.
And that's
Well,
where
what it's called. What it was called. I don't know what it's called now. because
I don't know, yeah.
I don't feel like he owes him anything. It's kind of like a
Kinda.
universal "I saved you, you saved me" kind of
yeah, I
Yeah, it
kind
is
of
kinda-
feel like that. It was
just hanging
okay.
out.
Their
Yeah.
meeting between Chewie. I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't want to interrupt
alright.
what you were talking about. You were talking about older stories. We'll get to
Yeah,
Chewie
yeah.
and Han meeting later.
But I just thought it was interesting how that character in the story is the one that works almost the best in a lot of ways,
Sure.
even though it's in most regards it's the most used character. It's a very very well used character
Yeah.
from older stories, and it's just kind of funny to me that they try to do all these different things that are supposed to be unique and everybody's backstabbing each other, which is all right. That's fine.
Triple cross, tight
but
movie.
in a lot of ways, Chewbacca is kind of one of the more interesting characters there, and he's not even the main one.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel like they really underused him too.
I agree. I also feel like there's one thing I'm going to go back to in a second. Back to Darth Maul, but
Yeah.
while we're on the subject, I feel like they became best friends really fast. Hey, I saved
Yeah.
you. Hey, now you want to be best buds
You can
and
speak-
do this job together.
You can speak Wookiee,
You're right.
and
You
now we're
speak.
good.
You speak
Yeah.
the language. Congratulations. Okay.
Your mother's name is Martha.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what's Martha?
I can't do the Wookiee noise.
I can't
Yeah.
either. It's
That's
too
my
bad.
greatest regret in life.
Yeah.
Yep.
My uvula is too small.
I'm not doing. I can't do it very well.
So jealous.
Keep going.
Yeah. So
So to go back to Darth Maul.
Okay, so the other thing is we know Darth Maul and Han Solo can't meet and they can't face each other unless
Yeah.
Darth Maul doesn't have the Force, use the Force, because Han Solo in Episode 4 says he doesn't believe in any Force or all-knowing power of the universe or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Sorry
Yeah,
for misquoting it. Sorry for misquoting that famous line. If you have any complaints,
it's fine.
tweet
We all know
me
what he's talking
at
about.
John the Fulton on Twitter. If you have any complaints, send all your complaints to, again, John the Fulton
Yeah.
on Twitter.
send me your
So-
photoshops. Your
No,
comments.
that's me. What are you talking about?
What?
Well, that's my Twitter. What are you
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
that's right. I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
if you're complaining to Craig, send them to John the Fulton
Right.
on Twitter.
So,
But if Han Solo ever sees a lightsaber, therefore that line in Episode 4 where he doesn't believe in that hokey pokey religion and
yeah.
Right.
and all that. So unless they're going to retcon Star Wars Episode 4, which that is a death sentence, Disney, if you're listening.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't do that. So he can't meet Darth Maul, because if he does, then he's going to believe Obi-Wan. When he sees a lightsaber, he's gonna be like, "I've seen that before."
Yeah.
I don't know why he just became a redneck. Han Solo's a redneck. But anyway, so we know that Han Solo can't ever run into Darth Maul. So Darth
Right.
Maul's isn't just a drop-in character. So is he going to be tied into a trilogy, maybe a pseudo trilogy of Han Solo, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan? This trilogy kind of like showing the underworld of the galaxy, like the crime syndicates and the crime side of things. And
Oh yeah, you were talking about this.
But then
so,
Han
like,
Solo
this is
can't
kind
stay
of
in that world because he jumps out of it in
well,
Episode
he
4.
goes right. Well,
So-
that's what I'm saying is maybe we don't see
Yeah.
him again, or you see him in passing in the Boba Fett movie.
So in other
And
words,
then
you're
Boba Fett
saying
in
they
passing
may
of
kind of
Obi-Wan.
do the Marvel thing where each kind of they introduce a character and then some of the others appear in the background, but it doesn't really affect the plot.
But
So-
it's like a loose pseudo trilogy
Yeah,
kind
so,
of thing. And
so
that's-
like if Han runs into Boba Fett in the Boba Fett movie, he won't really be impacting the plot. He just might say something, and Boba Fett will be like, "I'll get you for that," and that's it.
Or you just see him like because supposedly after this, at the end of Solo, he's going to go work for Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, yeah.
There's a job
Right.
with the Hutts or whatever.
Which I thought was all right. One thing I thought they did a decent, okay enough job at is they did tie up all their loose ends okay enough. Like, at least they happened
Except
for the
for the
most part.
ones that they
It's
didn't.
just the ones,
Yeah,
that
except
the
for
new
Kira
loose ends,
and-
the
Yeah.
new loose ends they created, I felt
yeah,
like were the
that's true.
problem more
Yeah.
than the ones they
Right.
consolidated,
Well,
if that
and
makes
that's
sense.
the other thing is, are they going to... I feel like Kira her fate should be tied to Han Solo somehow. But if they're not going to make another Han Solo movie,
Then what was the point of all this?
then what was the point? First
Yeah.
of all, what is even the
Yeah.
point of showing Darth Maul? Because Darth Maul, like I said, they can never meet. Because then if they do, Han Solo, if it's a battle or something like that, or
Yeah.
a fight of some sort, he's going to, Darth Maul's not going to not pull out his lightsaber.
Well, you saw
I mean,
who
he
they
pulled
had.
it out when he was talking to her on the hologram. Here's my lightsaber. That's super cool.
Yeah.
You saw who
that
they.
was so
you know what
dumb.
they
You saw,
might
who,
be
you saw who they had
following your
playing
idea.
Kira,
What?
right? I mean, it is Game of Thrones in space
Yeah,
now, right?
but also Amelia Clark. I love Amelia Clark.
Yep.
I did not like her performance in this.
I felt she was a little wooden.
She was a little wooden. She's
Yeah.
like they added depth of like, I'm deep and you don't know what I've done. I've killed people, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
trying to simulate that depth.
But she just tells you about it.
But
We don't believe her.
The depth is just not mentioning it.
Yeah.
And it's like, just tell him.
It
If you
didn't-
care enough not to kill him, care enough not to let him die,
Yeah.
you care about him. So why wouldn't you tell him? Like, I don't.
Or at very least, why wouldn't the mask
loose.
slip?
Yeah,
That's what I
Plus-
don't get.
plus-
The mask doesn't really slip.
Well,
Exactly.
plus to me, I mean, Han doesn't really come across to me as like they constantly talk like they have that twist at the end where the I think they call them the Cloud Riders, but they're like these pseudo rebels that are not really rebels, but they're kind of like rebels. But
Yeah.
and
The
they come
beginning
up
of the rebels.
and they tell them, "Hey guys, the Crimson Dawn is a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
You shouldn't give stuff to them."
But like,
okay.
tell me more
and
things
this
I already
gang-
know.
Yeah,
You-
and this gang of mercenaries and
Who killed
bandits
other
goes,
characters who
"Oh,
killed that
man.
four-armed dude.
maybe we shouldn't do deals with criminals."
Yeah, right. And you've done nothing but deal with criminals this entire movie.
It's like, this is
Yep.
the movie
Yeah.
where all the criminals are. Every other character, 2/3 of all the I don't think I ever saw like
A
one
non-criminal.
person who was not a criminal in this movie. except maybe the stormtroopers, and they're stormtroopers.
And they're kind of criminals.
Yeah.
They work for the Empire.
It was so. It just came so like.
That's funny.
It landed
I'm
with
gonna-
such a wet
Yeah.
thud. Like I was supposed to care, and then I was just like, nope, I'm out. Yeah, just tell me when the shooting starts again. I'll be back. I'll tune back in then.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was. It was so
And
bad.
that whole, was it just me, or did that whole scene at the end, the knife and dagger sort of, I brought the stuff, but I didn't bring the stuff, but I did bring the stuff, but
Yeah.
I didn't bring the stuff. That was all kind of like,
it was
don't
fairly
protest too much.
straightforward.
It was straightforward,
to me,
but I
I
also
mean,
saw it
but-
coming.
Yeah, it
As
was.
soon as Woody
it was
Harrelson
too-
said, "Never trust anyone, because then you'll never be disappointed," or whatever.
Right, right.
I was like, "Yeah, Woody Harrelson's going to betray him."
Let me explain this a little
yeah,
bit.
okay.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only people
I-
who say that in movies are the people who are going to betray you because they don't want to feel bad or have that on their conscience.
Right.
I told you not to trust me, but you trusted me.
Yeah.
But
Who
let
knows?
me explain this real quick, because it felt like a double cross on a double cross on a double cross.
Or
Because
an attempt.
yeah, an attempt. Yeah, okay, it was
But
like
I
a
saw it
double cross
coming.
on a single
Yeah.
cross. One or the other, only the other.
It was a double
But-
cross.
Yeah, but okay. So explain to me, why does Han Solo bring the stuff with him?
So
At
that the other people don't get
Explain to me why the rebel, the pseudo rebel people let him do it,
it. Because he has a plan, and he's the main character.
because they trust him because he's. Anyway, I
Oh,
just
boy.
didn't. That
He's
made no sense to
handsome.
me. So
He's
explain.
handsome.
Like this is how
He's
Han,
still
this is how
handsome.
Han Solo has
He's
got to
handsome.
explain it to them. He's like, I'm handsome, and now I'm going to take this stuff and I'm going to bring it to Crimson Dawn. Okay,
To Princess Dawn.
and I'll trick them, because they already think
Princess
that you
Paul
guys
Bettany.
have it, and so they're going to send all their guys after you, but you won't really have it. Here's the
and
twist.
they won't, and,
then
you won't really be you.
you won't really be you.
You'll be-
So then you will ambush you. No, you will ambush them,
Who's
ambushing you,
Who's not really you.
and I will ambush him with Kira. Do you get what I'm saying? How
Yeah.
it's like, doth to protest too much, you know?
Yeah.
Just,
Just
and plus we knew. I don't. It was like we knew that I knew that Kira was going to betray her, but I just didn't know how. And I knew that Woody Harrelson was going to betray him, but I just didn't know how. Actually, well, no, I was a little bit surprised by that, because it was like Woody Harrelson, who had left, ratted him out, and that
I
kind
thought
of
that was okay clean. That was reasonably clean.
Well, it was fine,
The
but
way
at the
they did
same
it.
Yeah.
time, it felt like these characters were always doing things that didn't quite make sense. In other words, the only reason I accepted that was because the characterization is so loose in this movie that it's just BS at this
Yeah.
point. Like you have that scene where Woody Harrelson's wife dies,
yeah.
right.
and he says a thing. He punches Han in the face. Han basically commits to the job and says, "We'll help you finish it anyway." And Woody Harrelson says, "Sorry, I punched you in your face." And I was like, this line might as well have 2018 just like dripping off of it, like blaring on the screen. It's 2018, and this is how we write dialogue in 2018. I was just like, it's like I loved it. I love it when people first started saying, "I punched him in his face," because it's so puerile and stupid. It's just like, well, okay, yeah, I guess that's logical, but at the same time, that's all. Surely there were other places you could attack or whatever. It seems, it's like to add extra intensity, but obviously they're not actually thinking about how to disable someone.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I punched him in his face, or it's like give him a missile in his face, and it's like every single movie does that. And it's like I go through my books now, and it's like face, take it out, face, take it out, or whenever somebody says, "I'm gonna finish this," what are we gonna do? Finish this. What are we gonna do? Finish? Stop. No, I'm changing that line. It's gotta be something else. It's like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
You know,
Ruined it.
one other thing I thought
So-
was really weird was, his wife, girlfriend, whatever, blows herself up, right? And then
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, he's so mad. Let me put this in like perspective here. He is so mad. He punches Han Solo in the face, and then he's good.
Yeah,
That's it.
fine.
Yeah.
And we never talk about it ever again for the rest of the movie.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
We're good.
Oh man, well, she
I felt like
also-
that was like,
Remember?
oh, hey,
remember
and
why
no.
she blew herself up? Remember, they're thieves, not fanatics. This is not a terrorist
yes,
cell.
Right.
That
This is
part
not even a
made
rebel
no sense
cell.
to me.
And she blows herself up because they need to get the job done, or Crimson Dawn will come after them.
Well, you're going to die.
And their
so it's
justification for that was that the Empire doesn't send people after deserters, which seems stupid to begin with. And then they showed us the guys that Crimson Dawn would have sent after them if they had failed the job, and it was 8 dudes in black armor.
Who get killed by pseudo-rebel crazy, just
in about 10
rebel
seconds.
people.
It's
Yeah,
like,
rebel.
We could. That's like less than half of a stage in a Halo level.
Same.
It's
Yeah,
like-
If we're not counting the grunts or the jackals.
That's just.
That's just running through the map.
Yeah. All you
Yep.
have to do is get them all close enough to a building and then blow it up.
Yep.
Whoops. Yep. Is that all they're gonna send?
Just like toss a grenade. and
Yeah, I like how they were talking
Yeah.
about how it's an army and then there's like 6 guys.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Chewie versus all 8 of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there would be enough plotness on Chewbacca's side. He
Yeah.
could win. It was. It seemed so arbitrary. It was like the script was hitting the right notes where it was like it told you why something was going to happen, but the explanation was dumb.
Well, on that note, let's move on to
Okay, so we'll stop talking about Solo for now, and we're gonna move on to the future of the franchise for now. We're probably gonna end up splitting this into a 2-parter, but anyway,
everything
so
turns into a 2-parter.
yeah, pretty much.
This has been the Full Time Podcast. Technically, this episode is not over, but these 2 Doomcoughs dragged on too long, and now we have to split it into 2 pieces. Please ring the bell and subscribe, and if you are a sucker for pain, you can go purchase the book one of these idiots wrote all by himself. None of the proper authorities were considered. None! Please comment and tell these 2 they are wasting their time. No one cares about your academic history bullshitting! I rest my case. Goodbye.